All right. We'll see where this one takes us. Because that one was wild. We're rolling?
We're rolling.
Of course we are.
So who's been in a foursome?
I think it's called an orgy.
At that point, I think it's orgy.
Or tag team match.
Yeah. Fatal four-way.
What's up, Eddie? How you doing?
I'm good. I unzipped my shirt, so it looked like I had two clothes on, different outfit from last
Don't
week.
break the fourth wall,
Oh,
dude.
I broke kayfabe.
Yeah. Speaking of kayfabe, did you watch WrestleMania?
I watched parts of it. Like I watched the CM Punk match
Yeah.
and I watched the John Cena match.
That's
Because
all that's really all you needed
That's
to
the only
watch.
wrestlers I still know. I don't know
Yeah.
about it. I don't because I stopped watching it so long ago. I don't know any of the new storylines or anything.
You're a cranky old man.
I am a cranky old man.
But it's so funny, because I watched the same matches, and I watched a few of the women's matches too.
Yeah. I watched the Charlotte Flair match.
I think I watch more of it than you do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Still,
I don't watch. I hardly ever watch.
I watch it just to kind of keep up with my friends that do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to see who's in the game and like who's being pushed. Like that always interests me.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah. The main event on the second night
The Cena,
was
Cody Rhodes.
so bad.
Yeah.
Was it, in your memory, was it one of the worst, you think? Because look, Cena had to do something shady with the way his storyline is currently going in order to keep up that heel persona.
Which I don't know why they even turned him heel.
They turned him heel for the smarks, Eddie. You know exactly why they turned him heel.
But they waited his entire career to finally do it in the last 6 months of his career to do it. Like it just seems like
you and I both know this is not the last 6 months.
I know, but it's just like that match would have been better had it been two faces going against each other.
Whenever you see a guy come back like Cena or The Rock or whatever, and it's the last time. How many last times did The Undertaker have?
Quite a few. I mean, Flair had a lot of last ones. So did Macho Man.
Yeah, I think the only last one is the one where they actually meet the Maker. You're like, oh, that was his last match.
Owen Hart had a last one.
Fucking A, Eddie.
Did he die?
Yes, Jesus Christ. Thank God Keida gets context clues. Oh my God, did he die? Yeah, famously.
In the ring.
That was like one of the most traumatic events, I think.
Oh,
he fell from the rafters. They were lowering him down. Yeah. I was watching that pay-per-view.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
That's horrifying.
That was.
And they kept going because Vince McMahon's a cool guy.
That would never happen today, right?
You couldn't. You couldn't.
Dude. Okay, so if you watched Sunday, you saw when Stone Cold came out?
Yeah.
And he came out on the ATV?
Yeah.
Did you see him hit the barrier?
I don't think I did.
So Stone Cold Steve Austin came out and was doing the redneck ATV run down the ramp, etc. And he was doing wheelies and he was just doing circles, like zoomies around the ring.
Yeah, which he does.
And he lost control of it and clipped the video barrier because they're video barriers.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you saw the girl behind it freak out and get out of the way really fast.
Did it catch fire or something?
No, it didn't catch fire, but like I wonder if she was standing up against it and like if she fell. I didn't really get a good. Yeah, I was like, oh, she's totally gonna sue.
Oh, I would sue.
1,000% gonna
fuck
sue.
out of them.
Yeah, WWE is totally getting a letter from a lawyer about that.
I didn't see that. I missed that part.
We're gonna see her ringside the rest of her life. But yeah, he did that. That was honestly the most. That was the most compelling shit all Sunday night.
I don't like it. It's like
that it's 2 nights now.
It's 2 nights, and it just seems like it's gotten to be like the way
because it was supposed to be wrestling Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the best of the best, the storylines you want to see, not just like let's have as many storylines as we can have to fill up 2 days. Now it's gotten away like the Oscars are with their 10 nominations for films. It was like you can't have 10 movies nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
it used to be 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Now you can't have 2 nights of WrestleMania.
It's a lot.
It's too much.
This is the only thing I'm pro Trump on is hopefully it makes its way back to WWF. Because those characters when we were kids were completely you couldn't have
you
those
think
characters
the F
today.
really is the thing that we're missing in America?
Not the F, the way the fucking characters were. The Iron Sheik, the fucking,
the two-dimensional,
two-dimensional
super two-dimensionist racist things.
That was the golden era.
But have you seen that new show that's coming out on Netflix?
Make wrestling great again.
The new show that's coming out on Netflix, they're actually going behind the scenes now and showing the writing process. Triple H is like bringing cameras into the writer's room. So they're completely doing away
with kayfabe.
With kayfabe on every level now.
It's so funny though, because sometimes people that I know that worked in the industry, they are so into kayfabe that they get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I could imagine.
They themselves don't know where the line is. Where you're like, oh, you think you're a method actor.
Right. Well, that notoriously happened with Ric Flair. Like, he literally thought he was the wheelin' dealin' guy.
Yeah.
He lost his family over it. Like, he thought he was that millionaire playboy guy. I mean, like, they get lost now. You're on the road, 40 weeks a year playing that character. You're going to eventually become that person.
Can you imagine if Doink the Clown got method?
I'm a clown.
Or like The Undertaker was meth, or Paul Bearer. You know what I mean? Like,
it would get blurred for sure.
Kayfabe it seems exhausting.
Yeah.
Kayfabe truly seems exhausting.
Well, especially back then when you're talking about like the old 80s where like they had to maintain the kayfabe outside of work.
What the hell is kayfabe?
So kayfabe is, Eddie, you want to take this one?
It's like, it's
completely made up bullshit that isn't real, but you have to convince the audience it's real, even when the cameras aren't rolling. So, like, even when you're out in public, it's like you are that character.
Right. Like when Macho Man hit Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with the ring bell on his throat, he didn't really have an injured throat. Like, he was wearing a neck brace around. The neck brace is kayfabe.
Because for the longest time, people thought wrestling was real. And at some point, wasn't it during the steroid trials and stuff like that, Vince McMahon had to basically come clean
it's called sports entertainment.
It's sports entertainment.
It's not sports.
It's not athletics.
So when like Iron Sheik and what was it?
Nikolai Volkov?
No, it wasn't Nikolai. Iron Sheik was getting a bunch of coke with who was the Rowdy Piper? They were buying coke together.
Oh yeah.
They had to keep in character. They had to beat each other up while they were getting the coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't be seen as friends outside of wrestling. Or they weren't supposed to.
Can you imagine Jim Ross calling that?
Right.
That cocaine had a family.
So what era? Okay.
By God,
what era?
That septum is broken in half.
What era did you guys enjoy the most?
I enjoyed our era, the 80s, because you were a kid and you kind of believed it was real.
D-Generation X.
And then I also enjoyed the early days of the Monday night with the NWO and Raw, like Stone Cold and DX and NWO.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff was kind of cool because it was so different from what we had in the 80s when they were kind of like, no, they're kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit where it's still real where they were going by their real names, but you still thought some of the action, you knew the in-ring stuff was fake, but you thought some of the outside stuff was real.
I loved Trish Stratus and Lita, which goes to show you that the patriarchy was ingrained in me. You know what I mean? I got sent home from school all the time.
Your underwear was sticking out.
My underwear was sticking out. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I enjoyed those two eras. This era, I don't.
Of course you did.
Yeah. The live sex show between Edge and Lita on Raw. That was great.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. They had a bed in the middle of the ring.
That's wild.
And they both got under the sheets and pretended to have sex.
What's that pitch meeting?
I don't know. Well, the other one where Sexual Chocolate and Mae Young had a baby.
Had a baby? Wasn't it a hand?
It was a rubber hand. She literally gave birth to a rubber hand on camera.
Man.
Kayfabe.
She pushed that hand around in a stroller.
I just feel like you can't. It's so boring now. I feel like the characters aren't really characters. Like in the 80s, it was like the characters are so
well, they were
rich.
superheroes in the 80s.
So
they were
rich.
comic book characters in the 80s. They were two-dimensional
perfect.
comic book, not human characters. Now everything has to be so real.
Well, they have to be real, but not real. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's some wrestlers. There's some wrestlers that I think still trend into the weird.
Yeah.
But they don't have powers.
Yeah.
Like, there's no Undertaker anymore. There's no,
Hillbilly Jim and Big John Studd were literally all the people in Ohio in the 80s.
Yeah.
They were completely real. Those were not
These are real, guys. These are real. Keida is so lit up right now.
Don't say that Jim was fake.
And like Mean Gene. I mean, you can't beat that.
No. It was more entertaining. It was I don't know. It was probably more entertaining back then. But
yeah.
But now I'm not into it anymore for some reason.
I mean, because
because you're fucking 50.
I'm 50.
Like, that'd be weird.
I'm a grumpy old man at this point.
No, I think I think during the last few years of Vince, I think he really wore people out.
It got, I kind of
It was
soured.
Predictable.
Well, I soured on just the industry and the people running it.
Oh, yeah. I think because, anytime, because you had so many friends that worked in it, myself included.
Yeah, I was just saying,
anytime
you hear the horror stories.
You get a look on the backside, you're like, oh no, it's still
and then
they were
doing
industry.
this pay-per-views with Saudi Arabia and like the Crown Jewel events. I'm like, this is gross.
It's so gross.
This is gross.
It's so gross.
The shit that goes on there, and you guys are just doing like wrestling, and then they wouldn't let the female wrestlers wrestle, and then it was just
they wouldn't let them leave.
Yeah,
remember that? Where it was like mysterious, like how like the WWE plane wasn't allowed to leave for a while.
I'm like, how much money do you need that you're willing to sell your soul to do that shit? So I was just like, I'm done.
It's all the same. It's carny stuff.
Yeah, I'm out.
I think that those working around that industry showed me again, I'm not a good pirate because I'm too ethical to work, and I don't work the way normal people. Well, not normal people. That kind of person works.
Yeah,
I don't do carny. Normal. I don't do carny, you know?
It's a lifestyle.
It truly is. Do you ever think that like you quit on wrestling just because you're just a cranky old man?
I'm a cranky old man now, for sure. I'm trying to force myself to like stuff now. Like I'm like, I should be enjoying this. Why am I not enjoying this?
Like what? Do your action figures still bring you joy?
They do. That is the one thing that children I look at them like, this brings me joy.
But just looking at them.
Yeah, just looking at them. I'll be standing.
You don't play with them. No, you don't organize them in tableaus.
I'll be in my apartment, standing over in the corner, just looking at my wall of action figures. And Tracy will come like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
"Looking at my legacy."
It's just like, this brings me joy. I don't know. It's a simple thing, and it does. I don't know why. But like, I'm trying to go out. I'm trying to do things that elicit joy, like going to a movie. I'm trying to go to a movie and go, "This is where I'm happy." But it's like it's hard to find moments now where I'm truly joyful.
Do you think it's because when you get older, there's less novelty? Do you know what I mean? Like there's less new experiences you can have the older you get, you know?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't enjoy things. I don't enjoy things the way I used to enjoy them. I don't get excited about things the way I used to get excited about them. And I don't know if it's because of my age or because of the way the world is right now or a combination of both or
like even at Disney,
it's a level of depression. I don't know.
I never felt like you were having fun.
No, because I'm trying to make everyone else have fun. At Disney, I'm trying to like, we have to do this, then we'll do this, and let's do that, and like I'm trying to get everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think you even had fun at Disney. Not to say that you didn't
I
enjoy
enjoyed
yourself.
I did enjoy myself,
but I think you got enjoyment from watching other people.
I usually do.
Like you got secondhand enjoyment,
which I think is the comedian in me.
Yeah.
Is I enjoy watching people have a good time, whether I'm having a good time or not. I enjoy watching other people have a good time, which is weird, but I think that's the comedian in me.
Is it the new meds?
I might be. I might need to change up the new meds. I don't know.
Why? But you haven't gotten mean.
No, I'm not
grumpy. Yes.
Yeah, grumpy for sure.
More cynical. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, I've always been cynical, but no,
you've always had like gallows.
I've been able to cover it better.
Gallows humor.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I was reading articles about it, like, because I'm trying to figure out like why am I not?
Like, why am I such a dick?
Why am I a grumpy old man? And I am 50, so it's weird. Like, I never felt old. I still don't feel old in my head.
I don't either.
But my body's feeling older. And I guess that's maybe weighing on me. Like, oh, I have less time now than I did. Like, the things I wanted to do, I didn't get done.
I think about that all the time. I was like, I wonder how my grandmother sees herself. Because my grandma's getting ready to turn 102.
Right, yeah, that's fucking nuts.
And I'm just 102. Like, 102.
That's crazy.
And she's still with it. You know, I just went home and I took her to a baseball game.
That's crazy she didn't even go out to a baseball game at 102 years old.
She's got like a new scooter.
Wow.
She's learning how to drive a new scooter at 102.
That's awesome.
Like she's still with it. It's impressive.
That's
truly
great.
Is. What's crazy is my mom would be like, she's losing it. And I'm like, I think you are.
She's 100.
Exactly.
She can lose a little.
102. Let her lose a little, but she's doing fucking great.
Dude, the fact that she can go out to a baseball game.
Not only
at that
go out
age.
to the baseball game, but understand what is going on.
Yeah, that's
Comprehend what is happening in the game.
Yeah.
Like she is in it,
that's great.
you know? And I think much like you, like taking her to that game meant a lot to me because I was like, I liked seeing her enjoy herself.
Right.
I let my parents go too, but I was like, and they were like, thank you so much for inviting. I was like, yeah, this wasn't about
This is
you.
about you guys.
This was not about you guys. This is about like, hey, this makes this woman light up.
Yeah.
And like, I live for the fact that she still gets excited about stuff,
That's awesome.
you know?
At that age, that's amazing.
Yeah. And like I said, she's still with it. She's still very much with it. But I don't know how she stopped from becoming angry and cranky.
Like, I don't think I'm angry. I just you hit that moment where you realize you don't think you've
You're
been
at the halfway point.
more than halfway. I'm not living to 100.
You don't know.
I'm not living to 100.
You don't know.
I want to tap out at like 75.
Don't plan stuff like that. I hate when men
done at
say
75.
you will never meet a woman that's like, you know, I think I'm going to call it at 60.
Call it. Not 60. 60's too early, but 75, 80.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it at 80. No, women don't say that shit. Men are always the ones that are like,
I'm ready to leave.
yeah, exactly.
It's like the dealer at the blackjack table. Like,
Good luck,
have
everybody.
a good one. I'm out. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like, you just hit all these realizations of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do what I want to do. And then you're like, what did you want to do? Like, you have a great family, you have a great wife and great kid. And like, you have all the things that you would think make someone happy. But at the
Yeah.
same time, there's like, did I miss something? Have I missed something? Is it too late to do something I wanted to do? And then she just, I don't know, it just sort of steamrolls on itself.
But it's like you said, it's not like you got me. It's not like you're getting mean.
No, I'm not a mean person.
You just,
I don't enjoy things the way I used to. I don't know if it could be the meds, it could be low T. I don't know what it is.
it's interesting because I do think their hormones have something to do with it.
I think it's so too. I felt a shift in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So and I know you.
Have you
men
gotten your
a-
testosterone checked?
No, I don't want to.
Why?
Because they're gonna. I know what they're gonna say, that you have no testosterone.
Then get a shot, Eddie.
But then I'll lose my hair, and hair is more important than anything.
Eddie, no.
Hair is more important than
Hair
anything.
is not more important
Yes,
than.
it is.
No, it's not.
It's more important than happiness. It's more important than boners.
Plus, no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is not.
At 50, it is.
It is. Do you
Maybe
think
not
hair
25.
is more important than boners?
Yeah, fuck off, both of you.
I don't have hair or
No,
boners.
Hey, Keita, do you even have hair?
I don't. I shave my head. Well, God, and I
I've
shave my
never
head.
seen. I just realized I've never seen Keita's head. He always
got a
has
hat
a
on.
hat on. No, but he always has a hat. I have done shows with Keita in high end establishments, and he always.
I'm sure
has
he's got
a hat
nice
on.
hats for
I do
special
have a
shows.
nice hat,
Yeah.
When I'm 102, if I'm still seeing baseball games, what I'm gonna do is in the middle of the game, I'm gonna scream out of nowhere and just be like, I'm not gonna make it to next year, and just freak people out. Just be like,
Jesus
I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the next World Series. Because that's the weird thing about going to. This is what would be weird: going to a baseball game at 102 and pretending that we're not aware of the fact that you're like this. Literally, probably is the
That
last
she's
time.
in the ninth. That she's in the ninth inning. That
Yeah.
you're in
No,
the ninth
she's
inning.
in the 18th inning.
That's
Do
fair.
you know what I mean?
She's
And
definitely got
it's-
extra innings going
like,
on.
No, but think about how weird it would be to be at a game or any function
where
where you're
it's
like
so
in your
finite.
head, you're like,
In your head, it's so finite. Like,
you're like,
I see,
I'm
I know.
alive,
yeah.
but
Next year at this time,
So all somebody has to do is hit a walk off, and we're done.
yeah.
by every metric, I'm going to be not here next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For no good reason.
Like, none of us
Well,
can.
cool, Keita. I wasn't sad before the show started, but you know,
Well, it's the thing, though. It's that realization. Like, we can all, like, we don't, there's no guarantee we'll all be here next year, but we're not thinking, oh, there's no way I'm not going to be here next year.
But if we were 100,
But if you're 100
fuck, we might not make it to the next episode.
or even 80, like, my
Yeah.
dad is.
Cool.
My dad's 82.
this existential crisis is brought to you by two men that will not take fucking testosterone shots because they're in
started-
their fields right now.
Right.
I started losing my hair when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Mid 20s, yeah. Well, my grandmother had like 3 pieces of hair on her head, and my aunt,
Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
It almost made the whole 2 shows.
I love that it was just like, you know what? I'm done. All this talk, I'm done.
It got sad.
I'm done.
Well,
It got sad.
it's too old. It died.
But
So I know that's really well made.
Man,
Looks good.
I love seeing the behind the scenes of how Keida's brain works. It's just held together with fucking black electrical tape.
Well, aren't we talking about getting old?
Yeah, but I didn't know the set was part of it. But I think so. I used to actually, but it's interesting because people can trend one of two ways, especially when like dementia or Alzheimer's gets involved.
Yeah.
I used to work in an Alzheimer's unit.
Yeah.
That was what I did for my community service when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day after school, I would go and I would volunteer. And you had to get certified just because, like, you're dealing with people who have limited capacities and aren't always the same person.
Right.
When you encounter them. And you have to kind of be as flexible as they are, you know, or as rigid as they are. And they always went one of two ways. They were either super happy and so nice, sometimes a little weepy, or they were fucking angry. They were mad. This one guy was, and it's interesting because sometimes you can tell what they used to be in like their former lives,
right?
You know, before they started losing their mind,
right?
So like one guy was a carpenter, and so he'd walk around and he would take pictures off the walls and he would like slam them into the walls like he was hammering them in, and I was like, that is not how that works.
No,
buddy.
you need a tool for that.
And then like I would help them with like basic hygiene stuff, like brushing their hair, painting women's nails for like a treat, you know, for them. But I remember this one day I was painting this woman's nails and she kind of just wistfully looked over my shoulder and she goes, wow, you know, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. And I looked over my shoulder and there was a dick and balls.
What the fuck?
There was a guy there that was always taking his pants off. He was Donald Ducking it. He was always taking his pants off. They called him Naked John, and I never understood why they called him Naked
That's
John.
not hard to figure out.
Yeah,
Was he like a resident or a worker?
Yeah, yes, he was a resident, Keida. He's like, wait, you can work there with no pants? Sign me up.
His name's Naked John. Can you just assume that most of the time he's naked?
So Naked John would take his pants off and just stare at you.
I would assume Naked John would.
Yeah, but Naked John was one of the angry ones, you know?
Did she make a move?
No, but I just thought she just so whimsically said,
I haven't seen one of those
I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Oh, that's so depressing and horrible.
One lady told me, she got mad at us one day and she was like, I'm taking the bus back home. And I was like, well, Emily, I was like, good luck because Hawaii is a bitch to get to.
I got some news for you. Would you rather, when you get older, hopefully we all do get old, would you rather lose your mind or your body? Would you rather your body quit on you first or your mind?
I could never be trapped in my body.
Like, that seems horrible, right?
But so I think you can take care of your body. I mean, are we talking like Terry Schiavo trapped in my body? Or are we talking
not like that, but I'm talking like...
That's an honest
That was
question.
a deep cut.
That's
fucking
hey,
question.
everyone in this
Wow.
room knew what I was talking about.
Wow.
But I'm like, I've always wondered, I'm like, if I was trapped in my body and could not communicate, would I still want to be here?
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
I'm not talking like you, but just like your body just gives out on you over time, but your mind still stays sharp. And you like,
Well, that happens to me all the time now. When you have chronic illness, that's basically, I get small micro doses of that at all times. One day I wake up.
As opposed to your mind going, you're just not realizing anything.
Truly. I've had my mind go a couple of times too, where I was just like, because your brain is working so, your body is basically a machine and like your brain is just trying to allocate energy at all times to keep you alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what system is it going to shut down? Sometimes it's your brain.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like
you
you don't need
power somewhere.
Sometimes you don't need logic because we got to keep the rest of the organs going. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a tough call.
I don't know.
It's a real Sophie's choice.
Either way, it's shitty for the caregivers.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
Anyways, this has been fun. What would you do, Eddie?
What would I give up?
Yeah, which way would you go?
I think I'd rather my mind go.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'd rather, because I'm experiencing some aging here with the body, with the pains and the aches, and like, I don't know if I'd want to like be trapped in the body and not be able to do anything. You're just laying there like Up here, I'm 25 years old, but here
Yeah.
I'm 95 and I'm laid. I have to stay in this bed all day.
So you just rather be blissfully unaware.
I think I'd rather just be checked out.
That's not fair to your people around you, though.
Neither one is, because they're either got to deal with, but either way, they're wiping my ass.
That's fair.
So I don't know.
That's fair. I'm dealing with this complete segue here. I'm dealing with this thing lately where it kind of goes along with what we were saying, is like one of the things that I think I've always struggled with having chronic illness is asking people for help when my body lets me down.
Yeah.
And it's not just when I have chronic illness. It happens to me in career. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I am so scared of letting people know that I don't have it all together.
Well, especially in this industry.
But I feel like that's something that men deal with so much more than women. But for some reason, I operate way more like you guys, which is that disappointing.
That perception that men have to be stronger and more physically able to do things, and they can't go, or even mentally, emotionally, they have to be stronger to the point like you can't admit as a man to go, I can't handle this right now.
I had a friend say to me the other day, he's like, it's really hard for men because women expect us to be Superman. And at some point, we have to be allowed to be Clark Kent. He's like, I have to be, like, we're never allowed to bleed.
Right.
We're never allowed to struggle or to be human.
Well,
because we have to be the person that's like.
Because we're just conditioned that way from the time you're born.
Is that why you like superhero shit so much?
Yeah, man has to be strong. Woman expects man to be strong. It's like, as backwards and as ancient as that sounds, it's still conditioned into us from everything.
I have no problem with men admitting when they need help. I don't. I actually think it's a sign of like real strength and like self-awareness when a guy can be like, yo, I'm struggling.
Right. But as a man, you feel, especially a man with a family, you feel like you're letting those people down.
I don't think
by
it is
doing that.
No, I think when you let people down is when you aren't willing to have the conversation that you're struggling and you're trying to pretend like everything's fine.
Well, some people aren't.
Because that's like dealing with like an infant where I'm like, look, I know you're fucking acting out. I know you're upset about something. Are you hungry? Are you tired? Are you lonely? Like, did you shit yourself? What's going on?
But again, I think, at least coming from my perspective, which is the only perspective I can speak of, as a man growing up, you're not permitted by society and sometimes even by yourself to acknowledge the way you're feeling and let other people know how you're feeling, because you have to put up a certain sort of.
Is that a Gen X thing?
Veneer. It might be. It's probably absolutely a Gen X.
Is that a Gen X thing?
It's probably absolutely a Gen X thing. It's not a Gen Z thing.
Out of my head just now. Didn't even hear what was happening.
Jesus
Can you repeat it? You know what I like? So recently there was a friend of mine who this is an old age kind of revelation thing. She was disappointed in some things about me, and I was so grateful to be able to say this. I'm ADHD, dyslexic, and this is just the way it is with me. And I'm just not gonna even try to change.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing it, with malintent. It literally was like I was able to look at the situation and go, okay, it is important. And this kind of dovetails on what you were saying. It is important for me to fess up to like, this is why I'm not acting in a way that, like, her expectations were pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, some of her shit was thrown in on it, and I didn't want to take that on.
Yeah.
But some of it was really reasonable. But at the same time, it's like,
But there's something that happens.
It's not going to change.
But Keida, there's something great that happens when men are willing to admit stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no.
Because otherwise, it just comes off like you don't give a shit. You know.
This is why I had to tell, because I do. What I give a shit about is her not understanding my side, so that she thinks
it's her or something she did
something
wrong.
else. No, I had to,
or that you're not interested.
Totally. I told her, I was like, look, I'm really sorry, and I totally understand that this is an important thing to you, but also here's some information.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, ADHD.
And this is why I'm not giving you the response you're expecting from me.
And it's like, and this is going to happen. I'll try to work on it, but like, it's going to happen again. And this is just the way it is with me. You know what I mean? I
agree with some of it. I think when you know that you have shortcomings, it's really important to like communicate those to people so that you can work together to find solutions around them, or like ways to make sure that communication's easier and like super clear. You know what I mean? Like, especially because when you have ADHD, you have like, there's weird parts. Everybody thinks ADHD is like, I can't pay attention.
Right, I can't focus.
There's an element to that. But another part of ADHD is an extreme hyperfocus.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you break us out of that hyperfocus, there's weird rage that comes from that, because it's like, I was in this thing and you just took me out of that world where I was deeply involved in this thing. Or, you know, or you end up having like rejection sensitivity, which is a blast if you're a comedian, you know, because that's immediate rejection if something doesn't go well. And you will think about that for the rest of the day, sometimes for the rest of the week, you know, because rejection just hits us deeper than it does for other people. Mm-hmm. But I think part of it is, I don't know. You've known your whole life that you've had ADHD and stuff, right?
Well, I've always known something's wrong with me.
Us too.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm still trying to figure out what it is.
No, and this is the key to it, is that I have for years felt like something's wrong with me and I have to fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point in my life, and this is such a good feeling, because it's happened 3 different times recently where I've told 3 different people like that expected performance out of me in a way that I literally can't do.
Yeah.
Because of my issues.
Yeah.
And up until I feel like recently, I would put that criticism on myself and expect myself to somehow figure this out. And I finally got to the point where it's like, this is where I'm responsible. I'm responsible for telling people, hey, this is the way my brain processes. And I'm never going to be able to do that. Like for example, one of them was a friend of mine who was freaking out that I spelled Eliza Schlesinger's name wrong on a poster, which is a horrible thing.
That's an honest mistake.
It is. Regardless, it was a.
That's why she horrible... goes. She went by Eliza for a lot. Like, we should just keep it Eliza.
No, I know, but it's
she's
crazy.
She's the only Eliza that's crushing it.
Yeah.
No, and it's stupid because I book her all the time. She's a friend of mine, but it doesn't matter. I misspelled my own name. You know what I mean? So I told this, and this friend of mine really got into me with judgment. And I was like, hold up. I'm dyslexic and ADHD. I should never be the last eyeballs on anything.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I also told a client of mine this because she was getting crazy about some stuff that I made mistakes on. And I was like, and what's crazy about that one is it's my friend that runs a dyslexia organization that I work with. And I'm like, I'm fucking dyslexic. This is not new information. It's like, why am I the one whose last eyeball's on copy? I'm the last person.
Yeah, but when someone has a personal relationship with you, they sometimes they overlook the things that you have going on.
Because they see what a high functioning, that's the thing. And because people see all the success that you have, they don't see the times that you struggle, because we don't want people to see that part. You know what I mean? So they think you don't have any shortcomings, or you don't need any accommodations. Control, yeah, they don't think you need any accommodations because you appear to be so high functioning. So that's when it comes to like, you have to ask for help every once in a while.
It's tough.
You know?
Yeah.
Or you at least have to just be honest with people. And I told all these people, I'm like, you cannot expect this out of me. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I don't care. It's because I'm dyslexic and ADHD, and I should never be in control of that.
It's so funny because I was trying to explain what my experience was like for somebody in some of these facets, and they were like, yeah, Jen, that's how everybody's brain works because that's how their brain works. And I was like, buddy.
Got some news for you.
You might want to sit down. You might want to sit. I'm going to send you a test. Maybe a couple, you know?
Like, you're going to be put on a list soon.
If we worked at Ralph's, would you insist on me bagging groceries if I had no arms? It's like, that's not what I can do.
Sorry.
Thanks for the analogy. The armless man at Ralph's.
Don't put me there. And I can't be the meat guy. Well, you can't work the cash register.
What am I supposed to do with you?
He's a greeter.
You can't stock.
Just can't stock shelves.
Can't stock shelves.
But you can't discriminate.
I can't.
So there was a woman who's got a great sense of humor about herself, with no arms on social media the other day. That was like, roast me in the comments. I'll pin the best one. And the one that was on the top was, how are you going to pin it?
That's great.
And I was like,
that's great.
that's a valid question.
Yeah.
But I think you have to have a sense of, when you know you have shortcomings, you have to have a sense of humor about them.
I have a sense of humor, but I'm just saying, what's such a relief is to literally, like, I'm not taking this on, and this is why.
Okay, but the next step of that, instead of just saying, here's how my brain works, it's not my problem, say, hey, here's how my brain works. How can we work together and have a solution? How can you help me be better at this? Can we find a system that helps us be better at this together?
I don't have to ask. I know. I told him. I was like,
but for
your
you,
eyeballs need
it's
to
pretty
be
simple. Yeah, and that's, hey, someone else just check my fucking spelling.
Yeah. Double
Hey,
check.
fucking dummy. Do
Also, but Keida, a workaround for you could be, hey, what if I put Eliza's name in as like a frequently used word so that my phone goes, did you mean to spell it like this? And you're like, yeah, phone. That's what
Okay.
I did.
I will say one thing. I don't do Canva on my phones. That's not how I make posters. I make posters in Illustrator. I'm a real fucking artist.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's just make that while we're talking about making things clear, let's make that clear.
Clear.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with you, but I still don't. I mean, my default is I can never trust. It's like my dog. My dog can never be trusted around food. It doesn't matter how many times we talk about this. It doesn't matter how many solutions we talk about with each other.
Yeah.
It's like he will always go after the
He
food.
will always eat the food.
He's
on the
always
table.
going to do. It's what he does.
It's your
Yeah,
fault
yeah,
for leaving
yeah.
food
My
out.
nature is to completely chronically misspell things and fuck
Can you
schedules
imagine
up.
if they'd have put him in charge of the posters back in his roadie days?
Oh my God.
Can't wait to go to this ADHD concert.
I made this is how bad it is. I made a poster for my last Belly Room show, and I put the date is October 11th on the fucking flyer, and it was supposed to be May 11th.
That's way different.
I'm like, that's 6 months. That's not, there's nothing
That's
about
way
that
off.
that
Wow.
makes sense.
That's not even misspelling.
Wow, Doc Brown. Let me know how that show goes.
I'm not even kidding.
That's called using an old template that you hadn't used in a
No,
while.
that's the crazy thing. It wasn't a template.
You typed in
I
October.
literally typed in October. I wish I could say I.
What were you doing that October was on your brain?
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Man.
Wow.
Oh. Eddie, is it time? I feel
It's
like
time.
this is time.
I need a break.
Really?
You need a break?
I got to go ask for help somewhere from somebody.
Eddie.
Here we go.
You can ask for help,
I
Eddie.
can't.
Yes, you can.
can't.
You can.
It would be great if you guys subscribed to my YouTube channel.
Oh, look at that.
There, I'm asking for help.
Yes. I love that.
There it is.
Like and subscribe.
And my beacons. Subscribe to my beacons.
Leave him a nice comment, guys.
So I can come visit.
You can help Eddie.
There you go. We're going to play Florida Man Friday. 3 Florida Man headlines to Jen Sturger. 2 real, 1 fake. She just told me what the fake Florida Man headline is. And Keida's going to play along.
I'm starting to doubt my Florida.
Yeah, dude.
Which is crazy because I just came back from
Keida's
there.
crushing you. Florida man arrested after kicking a 6-year-old claiming the kid stole his Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Florida man asks state trooper if he can leave the scene of the crime so he can get more meth. Florida man taken into custody for showing up at an HOA with a sword and challenging anyone in the room to a duel for control of the neighborhood.
See.
One of those is fake.
See.
C's fake?
Yeah.
Okay. Keita?
Oh, I definitely disagree. I think B is fake.
You think B's fake?
the middle one?
State trooper?
Yeah.
Ask the state trooper if he can leave the scene of a crime to get more meth. Your winner and reclaiming the crown, Jen Sturger.
Mostly because I saw that on Citizen like a couple weeks ago. We have a very large katana and sword problem in Los Angeles.
There's a huge sword problem in Los Angeles.
Huge sword problem.
Huge sword problem.
Machete too.
Machete.
Yeah.
And, well, because they steal them out of the gardener's trucks.
Oh.
The garden, because there's so many garden. Every house has a gardener, and it shows up with a truck full of a lawnmower and buckets and rakes and machetes, and the homeless people just steal the machetes out of the trucks.
I was wondering why. I was like, why they had access to that?
I know. I was like, I didn't know there were so many Mongolian people here.
But no, lots of katanas around here.
Yeah, katanas too. I don't know where the katanas come from, but the machetes come from gardeners.
Lots of
Etsy.
dojos out here.
There's so many dojos.
Etsy, for sure.
Katanas.
I feel like they're just abandoned Comic-Con costumes where they're like,
Probably.
I can repurpose this.
This can be repurposed.
I'll be the king of
for
Van Nuys.
terror.
I'll be the head wizard of King Van Nuys. Eddie, where can people find you?
You can find me at Eddie Pence on all the socials or eddiepence.com.
Look at that. He's asking for help.
I'm asking
do
for
it,
help.
guys. Do it. He's asking for your help. And that's how you guys can help us by leaving a positive review.
5-star rating.
5-star rating.
Positive text review.
Positive text review.
Always helps.
All the time. Do it. Every single episode. Tell us how
Spread the
amazing
word.
we are. And keep sharing the show with your friends. You guys are doing such a great job. And it helps us grow this thing because we're kind of stuck in a bubble and at the mercy of the algorithm,
Yeah.
you know? You can find me at Jennifer Sturger on all the socials or at jensturger.com. Again, Eddie and I really want to take the show on the road. So please fill out our beacons and tell us where you want to see us live because we'd love to come and visit you in your city.
Yes.
So until next time, from all of us here at Not Today, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
That was great.